For a bunch of people who care about the environment as much as we do a lot to destroy it. Every week when we give tons of speeches talking about how to save the environment, and at the same time, travel thousands of miles by van, use hundreds of script books and hundreds of VAs, and kill a small forest in the process. Unfortunately, a lot of these issues are just part of the activity. We have to travel to tournaments. We need script books to perform. But one way we can alter forensics to improve the environment is in the type of paper products we use, going from traditional bleach products, your white paper, to unbleached products, which have a browner tint to them. In doing so, we can save the environment and avert a major crisis, as according to the Center for Disease Control, in conjunction with the Environmental Protection Agency, in November 2009, they released a report explaining that bleached paper products are now a major threat to both human health and the environment, greatly heightening the concern over how forensics impact this issue. This would be a very, very easy change that we could all easily implement. It would not change the activity at all. To understand this issue, we must examine the problems, causes, and solutions to using bleached paper products. But first, we must consider the problems they ensue. Now, the difference between bleached paper and unbleached paper is simply a difference in color hue. Bleached paper is a pure white. Unbleached is a light brown. We must examine this problem on two fronts. First, the actual production of the paper, and second, the way us forensicators use it. But first, we must consider the paper production process. Now, paper, of course, comes from trees. After the tree is cut down, it is chopped up into small bits of wood and turned into wood pulp. And then you add water and a few chemicals and it becomes a process called slurry. From there, it can be stamped down into a simple paper product and a sheet of paper. The one key element to make bleach paper is bleach. According to the American Journal of Environmental Studies of spring 2010, by adding 1.5 gallons of bleach, you can turn a ream of paper from a brown hint to the white hue. But doing so has enormously negative environmental impacts. Under 1978 US law, heavy industries using bleach have to filter their products before they're dumped into the stream. But because paper production is not a heavy industry, they can simply dump their products into the rivers, harming our ecosystems and killing hundreds of thousands of animals every single year. But the problem doesn't end there. Once the paper is used and ends up in the landfill, when it breaks down due to decomposition, the bleach seeps into the soil, killing even further. This problem is growing greatly. The Michigan Environmental Association of Impact, the Michigan's version of the EPA, in 2010 released a statement explaining that paper products made from bleach are the fastest growing environmental problem in America. This is an issue that affects us at home, as we use lots of paper products even at our tournaments. So now we can turn to the forensics front. Think about it. Look down at your ballot. You have a ballot pack of 6 ballots, and at this tournament alone, every single judge has the exact same amount. Multiply that by the 3 rounds in this flight, the 3 flights of the tournament, and we've now killed a small forest. Now consider all the tab sheets used in the tab room, and then the individual teams who have extemp files, visual aids, script books with page slicks, and extemp pads for the flow. Thus, we can see clearly that everyone has this major negative impact on the environment. Every year, we destroy thousands of trees and dump hundreds of thousands of gallons of bleach into the environment, making forensics a horribly negative impact on the environment itself. But now, if we understand the problems of using bleach paper in forensics, we can further consider its causes, to which are threefold: the products in the paper themselves, a lack of technological development, and also our simple lack of thinking about the issue. But first, the actual paper production process. This is pretty much a no-brainer. When you make paper that has negative products in it, it's going to have the same kind of negative impact on the environment when it's being used. The causes are somewhat simple, but become much more intricate when we consider forensics. Moving on to technology. Unfortunately, the technology isn't caught up with the forensics enough to have paperless tournaments. Although it would be ideal not to use a single sheet of paper, they're still necessary. Judges still have to fill out ballots. Extempers still need flow pads, and prompters need cards. And tab rooms, even paperless ones, still use a lot of paper to print out tab sheets and result sheets. This is an issue that we simply can't avoid. In many ways, bleach paper is the cheapest product for us. It is the most accessible. Because most teams running on a tight budget are trying to turn a profit off their tournaments, bleach paper is the most accessible, meaning the technology doesn't really have an impact, and we simply use it for lack of a better alternative. But further, Beyond just a lack of technology that allows us to avoid using paper altogether, the fact that we just don't think about the issue impacts us. Whenever we go to tournaments, most forensicators hope for a schematic handed to them, so they don't have to write it off the wall. But this kind of mentality is the exact kind of mentality that has to be changed. We get annoyed when ballots aren't large enough, so we can't get good comments from judges in a legible format. And we print off copy after copy of our speeches and scriptbook writings, just so we can perform at our very best. We often don't think about the paper we use. It's cheap, replaceable, so we use it in large amounts. But unfortunately, the ecosystems harmed by the bleach products are not always replaceable. And when thousands of animals are killed every year as a result, that is a problem which must clearly be addressed, and is a key cause why forensics has a negative impact on the environment through bleach paper products. But fortunately for us, there are many critical solutions that we can embrace to help solve this problem on a three-front level: on a national, organizational, and individual level. First, we must consider the national level. We as forensicators have many skills as speakers and writers, so we need to put them to good use. Write your congressman or representative, on unbleached paper of course, and tell them about the negative impacts of using bleached paper products. Encourage them to amend the 1978 law to affect also bleach industries that are made in the paper industry, so that all industries are covered under these laws, and that companies can't get away with simply dumping the bleach into the rivers. By doing so, we can greatly affect the problem, and essentially bring a solution to using bleached paper products. It wouldn't be a major shift for anyone. We still have the paper we need, simply being in a different color hue, which is not a major issue at all. But closer to home, we must change this issue on an organizational level. The National Forensic Association, Pi Kappa Delta, and the American Forensic Association use thousands and thousands of sheets of paper every year. We must encourage all national organizations to change their national tournament rules so the tournament uses completely unbleached paper. This would be a phenomenal example to set. Other teams would surely follow this example and use unbleached products at their tournaments, and for their own individual team members. Pi Kappa Delta is the perfect tool for this. PKD has been the tool for bringing in gender equality into forensics, as well as ethical standards to both NFA and AFA. Therefore, Pi Kappa Delta could be used to encourage other organizations to embrace this mentality of using unbleached paper, and thus would have a trickle-down effect, which would begin at the national level and go on to affect every single team running a tournament or a program. But finally, at the individual level, don't use bleached paper products. There are simple alternatives. If you're running a tournament, take the extra step and order unbleached paper. It doesn't cost all that much more, and oftentimes due to the lack of bleach, it's actually a cheaper product to buy depending on where you're able to get it from. Have your prompters and extempors use unbleached flow pads to help facilitate their speeches. Print off your speeches on unbleached paper. This speech right here was written 100% on unbleached paper, making it environmentally friendly. Reusing recycled paper simply isn't enough, because that recycled paper still contains large amounts of bleach in it, and will eventually enter our environment through one means or another. Therefore, we must go the extra mile, and you use unbleached paper. Even if it's just at the individual level, the impact will be felt. Today, we've examined the problems, causes, and solutions of using unbleached paper products in forensics. For decades, us forensicators have been solving the world's problems. But now, it's time to turn inward and address our own. Therefore today, with unbleached paper, we must stop speaking and start doing.